Hi guys, welcome to Dartmoor Archery. You've seen me do many things on me shooting, but never really explaining anything or talking about what I really do here. What I do here is I teach instinctive archery, but for lots of different reasons and for lots of different groups. People's needs are often quite different and they come for archery for many different reasons. So I'm going to explain instinctive archery, how I teach it. There's a simple way I teach it, but generally when I'm doing the meditation archery, I take it a little bit further down the line. So we start getting into the mind side of things, the mind game, which is a really important part of the archery. There's a whole part with the body which really does need to connect with the mind game. It's mind, body and spirit really. It's connecting everything together as a triangle that works the best for me. So there's a conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And when I'm shooting instinctively, I shoot so well from the subconscious. So I don't aim consciously. I have no arrow in my sight picture. All I'm doing is looking at the target. I keep the arrow out of my visual sight picture and I just shoot for the target with what I'm looking at and body memory. But when you break it down and go further into it, if I'm thinking, I start missing. And I teach that. So many beginners have even found that straight away. The moment they start thinking, they start missing. And then quite often someone who's been shooting for 20 minutes will look round to me and say, I get it, I really get it. Every time I think, I miss. The same for me. If I'm thinking at all, I'm missing. So I need a clear mind. But it's not just an empty mind. I'm sitting back from the conscious into the subconscious. The supercomputer, the human supercomputer. When you see people doing incredible things, coming up with incredible things, they're generally using their subconscious mind in conjunction with the conscious mind. In shooting, I find the conscious mind, the thinking mind, gets in my way. So even when I say I'm not aiming, because I don't engage the arrow and I'm not engaging any part of the bow in the shot, it's just a clear shot from what I'm seeing, the subconscious is cutting in. And it takes photographs, it knows exactly when it is right. But the body then has to communicate in the form, because anything out in the body is going to let it down. So they need to be working really well together. And that's the crux of my work, is to stop people thinking. Let them. We think far too much as humans. It's just a time to let that mind, it really works hard, it's constantly on the go. Give it a break. And that's my job here, is to get people past thinking into the subconscious. There's a lot of work to do with the body memory and things. That takes time. But then, you know, you could say, oh, this is a very long game. But I've seen people pick this up in 20 minutes and shoot incredible in front of me at all distances. But the moment they think, they start missing. So some people are very, very good at stopping their thinking process, and some people have to work hard at that. I'm one of them, and that's why my love for instinctive archery grew, because it was a practice I could use to stop thinking. So I do seated meditation. I will sit down and meditate, but to be honest, in all truth, I mean to do it and I sort of don't, and then a week's gone by and I haven't meditated. But with the archery, I've managed to shoot 7 days a week for 2.5 years now as my daily practice, as a meditation. And there's times when it isn't a meditation, when I'm trying to sort of, you know, work, been attacked by my arrows, trying to work through things or learn things that I'm teaching other people. So sometimes the thinking mind is involved. But generally when I'm shooting on my own, it is my time for peace. Let the mind rest, drop back. So there's lots of places where the same sort of activity goes on. So let's just take something that most people would understand, driving your car. When you first start, you've got to suss out first gear, second gear, dip the clutch. Lots going on, mirror, all the things in the car that are going on that you're learning. And it just seems that there's a hell of a lot to learn. But after a while, the body knows where the gear stick is, where, you know, you don't have to think to put it first, second or third. You don't think to dip the clutch. I've seen people driving whilst texting. Don't recommend it, and it's against the law, of course. I've seen people making a phone call, playing with a stereo, dealing with when you've got more than 3 kids in the car, you're not just a driver, you're also a taxi and a referee. So dealing with whatever is going on in the car, and they can still drive. But when it really comes into play is the emergency stop. All of a sudden, if you think you're going to hit that car, but you'll do a hell of a lot of things in a split second without thinking, because you've already logged it. So you'll dip the clutch, put the brake on. In the older cars, you might give the brake a pump, but nowadays ABS will take care of that, because that will do all that for you. You'll drop a gear, check the mirror that someone's not going to hit you from behind you, and you'll do all that without a single thought. The same in martial arts. You are training for the state of no mind when you're doing martial arts properly. You won't find it very often in the West. Lots of mind and body, but they very rarely go into the deeper side of things. I find that the Eastern masters, that's when you'll get the flavour of that. These guys can act with no mind at all and do phenomenal things. You know, take out 10 opponents very easily because we've done it, and they don't think to do that. So if I start thinking while I'm shooting, it really disturbs the whole process. But in the supercomputer, my subconscious, I know that it's got it all logged. So as long as I back it up with some good form, I'm pretty on for a good shot. As good as if I was aiming, which I don't. I never really have. Because the whole purpose was for me to stop thinking. In some way, aiming engages more for me. People that are good at aiming can do it very quickly, so they could literally go like that, because again it's all logged in their supercomputer, so they're still subconsciously shooting because they're not thinking up, down, move around. They're able to body memory, pull, the sight pitch is right, let go. So that also creates a great shot, but they're still also using the subconscious. So I've done loads of experiments like a mad scientist, and I found if I copy Kasai, the great horse archer, one of the only archery books I found actually worth reading. I've only actually really read 3. Most of them I'll go, oh no, I'm not interested. One was Kasai's book, one was Zen and the Art of Archery, that was okay, and I liked his master's book after that. That was an incredible read. So I forgot where I was there for a second. When I'm drawing the bow, every part of what I'm doing, I've probably skipped there because I forget where I'm at. Every part of what I'm doing is working on shutting down the mind, and I usually start to approach that from here. I was on the Kasai shot, I'll come to that in a minute. I will start that here. I will breathe and stop thinking, breathe, less thinking, and shoot. And what you'll find in most meditations, nearly all meditations I've ever done, they use the breath work to draw you in, to stop the thinking. So I use it as well. Quite often I will, before the shot, release the thinking, bring it up, draw, no thinking, and shoot. Just using my sight, but still I am using that subconscious computer, and it is aiming in some way. It's got it logged. You can use it, you can look back at childhood memories and almost see it like a photo, almost smell the smells. That's all logged in your supercomputer, which is more vast than the phone we're filming on or any computer. So the human mind is immensely vast. Most people know more about dinosaurs and planets out there than they do about themselves or their own mind. So this is what I teach, this is how I work with people, and I've worked with groups from kids getting in trouble with the police were brought to me. I've worked with them for a long time with a charity. I've done work right across the ball, helping a lot of people with their mental health, which archery is really good for. So back to that Kasai, the one I lost my track on. I used that to take away any possibility of that. So Kasai was shooting here, and I use that quite a lot to take away this. So I'm coming more towards really being more instinctive and using my body memory, and it works. Wow, it's accurate. If I practice it, of course, just with the body man. But again, the subconscious is still kicking in. It's still got a line, even though it's not using this facial line. I'm still have to use it because I've tried blindfolded archery. Oh man, you think you're shooting at the target? Yeah, this is very interesting. So I rely a lot on my sight and my sight picture. So even down here, I start to rely on my sight picture. When it changed for me was Eastern archery. So I'll just grab a bow. 1 second. If anyone's going to ask, so don't send me loads of messages, it's a Paragon Raider made by Robert, Paragon, UK. One hell of an awesome bow. So that's that covered, just so no one's saying, well, where'd you get the bow? Who is it? Paragon Raider, highly recommended, an awesome bow. Keep an eye on Robert, he's moving forward all the time. It changed for me when I came to this side of the bow. So I started to shoot here like this. Now that took away my sight picture. That changed everything for me, because normally I would have the bow canted and I'd be looking over here like this or like this, but suddenly the arrow's over here. Now the mind game really starts to play out, because my mind told me I've got to aim this bow over here to hit that. It's rubbish. I was only moving the bow mildly, but the missing, you know, I was pointing as if I normally would, so my body memory is going to what it knows, missing over to the right. But soon once I worked it out and started to really trust my instinct and learning to point again where this wants to point, oh, this became very interesting in the mind game, improved my archery hugely. So I don't care what style you're shooting, I recommend having a little cheeky horse bow. Also, it lends itself, now I can become a left-handed archer. And when I first started shooting left-hand, it was to here. Now there's no body memory because I haven't shot left-handed before, and now the mind is really kicking off. It really doesn't understand. First it was saying, well, why the hell do you want to do this? Because the right hand has always held that sovereignty. So if you do any study on the mind, you will see there's the front brain, back brain, left brain, right brain, masculine, feminine. There's all sorts of study. I've been studying it now 20 years in various forms and for different reasons, mostly to help myself. So I'm here for my own self-improvement. I don't shoot 7 days a week because I think it's clever, because sometimes, you know, there's other things I should be doing. But it's like if you meditate, when you meet a master of meditation, it's not because he meditates or she meditates 10 minutes a week or 10 minutes a day or an hour a day. They're in constant meditation. Their whole life is a meditation, and I kind of wanted that in some way. It's not worked out for me yet. I'm still very much learning and growing myself. I can personally see my own self-improvement through what I've been doing. So it's been done through learning about the mind, body, spirit, a lot of study, 25 years worth of study, but still feel like I've not really learned enough yet at all. Scratching the surface still. So when I come to this side of the bow, it took a lot of that away, because the bow is canted, the arrow is now here. It took away my sight picture, but suddenly started to become accurate. Same as left hand. To start with, I kind of relied on getting it up here, and then that started to catch up. Then I went to thumb release, left-handed. Oh, it's like starting again, like going back to absolute scratch. The arrow is going over that way. The mind can't compute it. As soon as I stop thinking and let the body make the movements and adjustments, it comes. The moment I start thinking, again it disappears. So for me, the non-thinking process is the gold. It's the golden nugget for my archery. There's people do archery for all different reasons. Some people are sports archery. I'm not like that. I've never done a competition. I'll be honest, I don't even know how to score it. How do you score points? I like shooting dog balls, and there's polyballs all out there for me to shoot. My thing is to empty the mind, to be with no thought and to be working like that. And it's not just, so again, like those masters of meditation or martial artists, they're not a martial artist when they put their gi on or they turn up at the dojo. The masters is a constant master of martial arts. Doesn't switch on and switch off when they come into the gym. Same for me with archery, really. I can apply it to my life, and I've learnt it here, how to calm myself, how to stop thinking. Sometimes I get problems and I'm trying to think my way through it and I can't see the wood for the trees. Stop thinking and there's the answer. And you know, often it's right the thing in front of me and I can't see it because I'm thinking too much. Same as my shooting. If I start to apply too much thought, I can't achieve the shot. So for me it's about clearing out that mind and settling it down. Body memory is important, but as I say, if someone is used to working with their body, so someone can come here, they've never shot before, within 5 minutes they've got this going well, they can achieve not thinking. Those guys shoot incredible. I've had my, you know, sometimes you feel like taking the bow off them and saying, right, off you go. I don't. I actually celebrate, and I've seen it so many times, men and women, young people, young children, old people that say, oh, I've never been good at anything, and still in the mind, and then bang, there it is, and then bang. And I've had so many people turn around and say, the minute I think, it goes wrong. So remember, stop thinking, process, use your breath. There's one good example. There's a lady called A Fin with a Bow. You'll find her on, I've seen a lot of her stuff on Facebook, and before she shoots, she goes, it's like a let go. And it kind of, taking that breath out will drop you a bit. It'll help drop the shoulders, take away tension, and then draw the bow with the breath. And that helps to clear my mind. So a lot of the time what will happen then, so let's say you do that all so well and you miss, then the mind will cut in. It's a cheat. It's such a sneaky little thing. Will come in and start telling you something. What I try and do is make that moment, so a lot of people can clear their mind here. They're empty, they shoot well. I want that the whole time. So if I'm having a bad day, so okay, Instinctive Archery, wow, I can come out here some days and just keep hitting whatever I want, and I come out here some days and just seems to be I can't. And that's why you'll see me play a lot, because okay, I work really hard at this and I allow myself days of absolute stupidity. So if I'm having a bad archery day, which I do, you know, at the moment I've got a lot of important things happening in my life that actually reflect my business, everything. I've got some serious stuff going on. If I let that go into my mind, I can't shoot my bow. I feel I'm here, I should be doing something else. If that creeps in, I'm missing all the time. So on a day like that, I'll just see what stupid things I can do. And you know, soon enough, I will let go of the stuff that's going on, and then I can cut through to some serious archery. So I find play helps me improve as well. Also, it's like a small child, the mind. You need to give it a day of play, or it's having some fun. Otherwise, it all becomes far too serious. For me, I don't care whether people think I'm right or wrong in my explanation. It doesn't affect me. What affects me is what I'm doing, what's working for me. That's what the way I see it. So I'm going to do some films, various different bits, on how I apply this, how I'm doing things, like using the Eastern Archery. It took me back to being an absolute beginner, from being able to pick off anything, you know, on a good day. Remember, this is on a good day. I will tell you, I look you all in the eyes and say, I miss, okay? I don't hit everything I shoot at. I'm not that good. When you see the supercomputer in work, is the guys doing the trick shooting. There's a couple of great examples, James Jean and Josh Adele, doing some amazing films, some incredible stuff. You can't have a thing fly in the air and go whack, whack, and think that through. These guys are purely going instinctive, you'll see sometimes they don't maybe achieve full draw. It'll be wherever it lands, because I do trick shooting myself, and if I'm on a day where I'm thinking about it, forget it. I only have the patience to make a film once or twice, 3 times, and then I am fed up with the camera, the whole thing. So for me, it needs to be done very quickly. So if I'm having a clear day where I really feel centered in myself, I can come out and make a film, 2 seconds, and it's done. That's the film over, and then I get back to play. But I've seen these guys continuously doing these shots. Josh Adele, I've seen pull off some amazing stuff, and also James Jean, incredible shots. Also Byron, Fergus, and some of the older guys back. And there's many archers, and it's not just these guys. I'm using these because they're names I remember. But there are many of you I've seen pulling off awesome shots, and that is not taken from thinking. That's coming from your subconscious mind. So I hope this in some way has helped. I've got much more stuff to share on this. I'll be honest, we're not very good at filming here. We can't doctor our films, add things on, take things away. We don't have apps to do it. It's taken on my phone, one go. If we don't do it in two, we're fed up. My son's helping me today. He doesn't want to stand here all day filming. I did have one job, and again, I've half done it. I've cut half the grass, and then thought, I've been meaning to make this film for a long time. We're also going to do a film later on British bowyers. This is the Paragon Raider. I'm going to show you another bow that I love to use for, have a look at this. KG Falcon. This is good. It's a lovely bow made in the UK. KG Archery, Keith Gascoigne, family business. Awesome and fantastic people. And if you enter into a conversation with Keith about bows, I soon realised I didn't know a lot. So these guys are great. So this bow has a long draw, and I got it at quite light poundage. So I always shot it here, and I thought, I'm wasting a bit on this. So I don't like drawing it right across my face. Plus, I wanted to come down to the Kasai style. This is the ideal bow for it, and to be accurate, because it's not a horse bow. I can do it with a Raider, of course. It's got a massive draw length, but it was just a fun way to use this bow. And a centre shot is just draw it here and let go. And I've shocked myself with how accurate that can be. And it's a fun way if you get someone calm and they haven't been shooting too long. It's a fun way to play and shoot with them. So have fun with your archery, guys. Don't overthink it. Don't be too anal about it. It needs to be fun, enjoyable, but also there is a self-improvement process. If you stand there thinking about problems, you're just creating them for yourself. It's the thinking that needs to stop. It is the one thing, like I say, that blocks it out for me. And I put everything to the test. I don't watch something, or no one's taught me archery. I've tested everything, absolutely everything I can possibly think of myself. I haven't tested everything. Everything that's come into my mind. Can I shoot from here? Can I shoot from here? Can I shoot upside down? I'll try things because it's all explained and I'm learning all the time. And it means when people come to me, I have a vast amount that I can teach, depending on what they need at the time. And remember, I'm not like I say to everyone, it's not the target you're working on. It's the target you're shooting at. It's this. You're always working on you. Archery is about you. And once you are right, the shot will go right. How many people have drawn their bow, took it, and you just feel it's right? So for me, archery is a lot around feeling. The Eastern archery gives me more feeling. I just find I feel it more. I feel the rhythm, the capture, everything is more for me on feeling and rhythm. This, the hunter, still feeling. I can still feel when I get it right, but there's less involved for me. This is just my way of doing it. Plus also, it's taught me a hell of a lot about instinctive archery, switching to the Eastern archery, and then going left-handed, opened a whole new thing. The strangest thing is, when I'm shooting on the right hand side, I've never ever even thought about aiming. As soon as I swapped sides, there was a thought kept cropping, even though I don't aim, it kept cropping up in my mind. And I've done this with loads of archers, and they've all said exactly the same thing. As soon as they swap over, the other side of the brain seems to want to ask them something different. Try it, see what happens for you. Anyway, we're constantly going to make films, updating, teaching, trying to help people to expand. I'm here, Dartmoor Archery. I teach on all different levels to all different types of groups and people, from just people that need to have fun. Because trust me, we have just had a very hard hit in this world, and at the moment people's mental health has suffered, but they also need to have fun. Safety first, then fun. Thanks for watching, guys.